In 1938, when Congress was allegedly putting this piece of garbage together, and I use the word allegedly for this reason, I wrote a book. I know everything that's in the book because I had to edit it several times. I've lectured on it and worked with it constantly. So I know everything that's in that book. Okay? Call up your congressman today, senators or representatives, and ask them what is contained in the Tax Reform Act of 1986, which they allegedly wrote. And you know what they'll tell you? We'll be happy to send you a copy. But that's all you'll get out of them, because they don't know what's in it. They don't understand it. The reason is they didn't write it. The IRS's attorneys wrote it. Congress just rubber-stamped it. Highly illegal, to put it mildly. Okay? In 1938, when they allegedly wrote this piece of garbage, the entire debate was about taxing government employees. And I have a copy of those debates there in my file, but it's not necessary to dig into all that to find out, because they were kind enough to tell us right here what an employee is. You want to tell us at 3401C?
Employee. For purpose of this chapter, the term employee includes an officer, employer, or elected official of the United States, a state or political subdivision thereof, or the District of Columbia, or any agency or instrumentality of any one or more of the foregoing. The term employee also includes an officer of a corporation.
Okay. First of all, and you all your life you probably thought you were an employee or had employees, whatever. It's not true. An employee, by definition here, somebody works for the government, isn't it? It goes on to say state, doesn't it? So if somebody works for California, would think, whoops, they got me. No, again, tradition by syntax. Section 3121E in here says state includes Puerto Rico, Guam, the Marianas, and Washington, D.C., and or government enclaves. Now, government enclave is, for an example, the federal building in San Francisco or Moffett Field or Presidio, Alameda Naval Air Station, this kind of thing, which you've got all across the country. If you own property, and you can own more property in more than one place, right? You could have a house at the seashore and a house in the mountains or whatever. So you would have jurisdiction over those, and naturally the federal government has jurisdiction over what they own, period. But they're trying to make bluffy with the word state, and another place they even use it is the officer of a corporation, right? So you think, well, gee, I'm president of my little corporation, so that means me. No. What are these? These are federal regulations, aren't they? They apply to federally chartered corporations, of which there's only one that we're aware of, and that's the Federal Reserve Bank. So if you're an officer of the Federal Reserve Bank, it means you, otherwise forget it.
Incorporated by state.
Every other corporation in the country is in a state. Right. Okay. Also, if you would call up the IRS right now and say, where is it written that I have to file a tax return? We're going to quote you Section 6012. Just read from General Rule there, those first two lines.
Every individual having a taxable...
No. General Rule. Returns.
Okay. Returns with respect to income taxes under Subtitle A shall be made by the following.
Okay. Does it say income tax returns? It says returns with respect to income taxes, isn't it? Why the strange wording? Suppose you're a high-powered government employee, and I'm the government, and I'm paying you a big fat salary, and I want to return with respect to income taxes. Now the wording makes a little sense, doesn't it? Because that's what applies to nobody else. It goes on to say...
I didn't understand that.
It doesn't say income tax returns. It talks about returns with respect to income taxes. Okay? So if you're the government employee, and I'm the government, and I'm giving you a big fat salary, and I want to return with respect to income taxes, this wording makes a little bit of sense.
Okay.
It's not too clear, but it does make more sense. And if it talked about income tax returns, then you could say, well, that's what I file, and so forth, right? But that's not what we're talking about. Everything the IRS has and does, as you will see, is almost, color of law, almost on, but not quite. It doesn't really apply to you anywhere else. But they're using it to tell you that it does. That's just a bald-faced lie. It's fraud. Okay? And it goes on to say under Subtitle A. Well, if you look up Subtitle A, which is in the other book of the code, it talks about income taxes. And the minute you see the title, hey, but there's something about the IRS code. Every time that you pick up the book at any particular paragraph, it will refer you to somewhere else in the book. And by the time you finish, you will read the whole book and be thoroughly and completely confused. Okay. But subtitle A, as you're reading down, it all of a sudden dumps you into subtitle E. Subtitle E covers people who deal in alcohol, firearm, and tobacco taxes. Those are the people that are required to file, because they're volunteering into a regulated enterprise. And so naturally, they're required to file tax return. And it goes on to say, shall be made by the following. Now, a lot of people think shall means you got to do it. United States Supreme Court and every other appellate court in this land has ruled in over 61 case sites that I'm aware of that the word shall, when used in any law or statute outside the Constitution, which of course this thing is, means man and is voluntary. Okay? So again, it's tradition by syntax, right?
Otherwise it'd be must.
Yeah. There is one person who is required to file. Carl, you want to tell us who it is? Guy's underlined there.
A non-resident alien individual.
Right. And I even agree with the IRS on that one. Non-resident aliens come in here. This means that they're not planning on moving here. They still have a home in France or Germany or wherever they came from. And the least they're going to do is use up some of our food, and might use up some other natural resources, and they may even make a few bucks and they leave. So tax them. I have no argument with that. But at this point, we need to understand the difference between taxes and tribute. Have either one of you read the United States Constitution since grammar school, or even at that time?
No.
See, only one person in 1,000 has, and that's what the problem is in this country today. And the reason it's a problem is this: the first three words of the Constitution are "we the people." The last three words in the 10th Amendment, which is the last legal amendment in the Constitution, are "to the people." Whose document is it? We the people's document. And we the people don't even know what it says. How are we going to enforce it without even reading it? Doesn't make any sense, does it? But you remember, this is all planned deliberately to get you to not read the Constitution. They talk about it, you hear about it in the press and all this kind of stuff. But to you, it's just a vague name, and you think it's okay, and you want to go on about your business or raising your kids and making a living or whatever it is you're doing, not paying much attention. Well, when you do that kind of stuff, friends, the fox steals the chicken out of the hen house because you put him out there to guard. And that's what the problem is. So we will, before we're through here, show you the Constitution and get you to read the thing. One of the things they also tell you is that you must obey the law, right? I'm going to do the honors on this 7806B.
Arrangement and Constitution. No interference, implication, or presumption of legislative construction shall be drawn or made by reason of the location or grouping of any particular section or provision or portion of this title. Nor shall any table of contents, table of gross references, or similar outline, analysis, or descriptive matter relating to the contents of this title be given any legal effect.
That's fine. Did you clearly understand what you just read out?
No idea.
Yeah, good. Because if you said you understood it, I couldn't do business with you. You have to be insane. There is a law that says when a law is vague, it's null and void for vagueness. But they're trying to hide something here. Did you see the words descriptive matter? Did you read? And going on saying it had no legal effect? Well, descriptive matter, according to the Black's Law Dictionary, is the entire book. Has no legal effect. It's true. It's administrative regulations applying only to government employees, and it's voluntary even for them. I have a worker here. Not an employee, she's a worker. And I have administrative regulations. Mine are very simple. Come to work at 8 o'clock in the morning, get an hour for lunch, go home at 4. Okay? But she still has regulations that she has to follow. Okay? It's true with any company. Got to have some kind of rule. Otherwise, it's nothing but chaos.
You're listening to an introductory tax seminar given by Phillip Marsh of the Pilot Connection on the Hour of the Time. I'm William Cooper. Make sure you get a pen or a pencil and a piece of paper and be ready to write down the information that you'll need to be able to attend one of these seminars or obtain information about the Pilot Connection. Right now, we're going to take a short break, folks. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Welcome back, folks. I want you to write this down. The Pilot Connection. That is the Pilot Connection. 6333 Pacific Avenue, Suite 334, Stockton, California, 95207. That's the Pilot Connection. 6333 Pacific Avenue, Suite 334, Stockton, California, 95207. Now you can also phone them, and here's the number. Area code 209-957-5493. That's area code 209-957-5493. Now, this information will be repeated later in the program. Remember, whether you write or phone, make sure that you tell them that you heard about them on the hour of the time and that William Cooper sent you to talk to them. Now we return to the second half of the tax seminar conducted with Phillip Marsh of the Pilot Connection.
So the government's entitled to have rules for its employees, but what they're not entitled to do is to shove those rules down your throat when you don't work for it. And their only claim to fame, as far as you're concerned, is the fact that they've suckered you into a Social Security situation. That's total fraud from top to bottom. Carl, you want to tell us what it says right here in this block? That's an official IRS publication.
Our tax system is based on individual self-assessment and voluntary compliance. The material contained in this handbook is confidential in character. It must not under any circumstances be made available to persons outside this service. Internal Revenue Service Commission.
Why do you think they don't want you to know what's in here? What's the one thing that people dread more than anything else with the IRS? The audit, am I right? Would you tell us what their official position is? Just the first sentence there.
An individual taxpayer may refuse to exhibit his or her books or records for examination.
That's fine. What did you just tell me? Can refuse to exhibit them, right?
Right.
If you can refuse, what is the tax? Voluntary, isn't it?
Right.
Are you folks in business or self-employed? Yeah. Then you need to know about this also. This is the IRS's strategic plan.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 5-year plan. Have you ever heard that term before?
Yeah, communism.
Yeah, right. So isn't it nice to know that we're socialistic enough in this country now that we're entitled to a 5-year plan, see? This one started in May of 1984, so it was supposed to have been finished in May of last year. However, the IRS has a bunch of clusters, and they haven't quite made the grade yet, but they're working on it.
Probably at year 1.
Now, you want to tell us what the first sentence says right here?
Tax compliance among self-employed persons is low in relation to other groups of taxpayers.
Okay. Carl, what's it say right here? First sentence.
The largest part of the tax gap from legal activities is represented by taxes due on unreported income of non-farm businesses.
Are you a non-farm business? Why don't you care about farm businesses? The answer is real simple. They know every blade of grass that a farmer raises and every one he cuts because they watch them all the time. Like the story about the farmer that was on his property, and the government agent came up to him and he says, Mr. Farmer, he says, I'm with the government. He says, I want to inspect your farm. The farmer says, get the hell out of here. He says, I've been here 45 years. I've never had a government agent on my property, and it's not going to happen today. The government agent kept on getting more and more pushy and officious, and finally brought out his business card, and the farmer decided, it's not worth arguing with him. Go ahead. So he went on about his business. About an hour later, he hears, help, help. And he looks up. There comes this government agent running across the pasture, held up the leather of the old bull about that far behind him, screaming, help, help. And the farmer says, show him your business card. But the fact is that the government is interfering far too much in too many areas of our life today. Now, we have shown you that the tax is voluntary. And if you have any questions about that, I'll be happy to answer in just 1 minute after I show you this. In order to tell you what we can do about your specific